This next lecture, we're going to be talking about political behavior in organizations. And like the word power, the phrase politics in organizations can make us think negative thoughts. However, it's not all negative. Let's talk about organizational politics. And when we talk about organizational politics, it's the use of power and the use of influence in organizations. And it's central to managing, and you have to recognize that it happens within every organization. There's also political behavior. That's actions not officially sanctioned by an organization that are taken to influence others in order to meet one's personal goals. And sometimes they're aligned with the team, sometimes not. But most people are good at recognizing what's going on, but then you do have people within organizations that don't understand and don't see how it's happening. Influence tactics that are used in organization. And influence is the process of affecting the thoughts, behavior, or feelings of another person. So different tactics that are used, there's pressure, and that's where a person uses demand, threats, or intimidation to convince you to comply with their request or to support a proposal. An example of that could be, if you don't do this, you're fired. You have until 5 p.m. to change your mind, or I'm just going without you. And then there's upward appeals. That's where the person seeks to persuade you that the request is approved by higher management, or appeals to the higher management for assistance in gaining your compliance with the request. An example of that could be, I'm reporting you to my boss. My boss supports this idea. Another tactic could be exchange. The person makes an explicit or implicit promise to you that you're going to receive a reward or tangible benefits if you comply with the request or support a proposal, or reminds you of a prior favor to be reciprocated. In that example could be, you owe me a favor. I'll take you to lunch if you support me on this. Coalition is another one that's used. And this is where a person seeks the aid of others to persuade you to do something, or uses the support of others as an argument for you to also agree. And that example could be, all the other supervisors agree with me. I'll ask you in front of the whole committee. Ingratiation, that's the person seeks to get you in a good mood or to think favorably of him or her before asking you to do something. And this is where you probably have this happen. You've been manipulated or coerced into it. It's only you can do this job right. I can always count on you. So I have another request that I need to ask you. Or it could be rational persuasion. The person uses logic arguments, factual evidence to persuade you that a proposal request is viable and likely to result in the attainment of task objectives. They could say, this procedure was going to save us $150,000 in overhead. It makes sense to hire John. He has the most experience. Other one is inspirational appeals. The person makes an emotional request or a proposal that arouses your enthusiasm by appealing to your values, your ideas, or increasing your confidence that you can do it. An example of that would be being environmentally conscious is the right thing. Getting that account will be tough, but I know you can do it. Or it can be consultation. The person seeks your participation in making a decision or planning how to implement a proposed strategy, policy, or change. An example of that could be, this new attendance plan is controversial. How can we make it more acceptable? What do you think we can do to make our workers feel less fearful of the new robots in our production line? And as long as the influence attempts are directed towards the organizational goals, the process can be advantageous for everyone involved. So it's not saying that any of these tactics are wrong, and there are people that are more politically savvy than others, and they know how to use these tactics. Let's look at political skill. Political skill is a distinct interpersonal attribute that's important for managerial success. And what exactly is political skill? When we look at it, it's the ability to get things done through favorable interpersonal relationships outside the formal organization. So politically skilled individuals have the ability to accurately understand others. We've done the EI, the emotional intelligence, and these are individuals that really get people. They know how to read a room, and they use this knowledge to influence others in order to meet personal or organizational goals. The dimensions of that, there's really 4 key dimensions of political skills. There's social astuteness to where they really, again, they know how to work a room, and they know how to say, even if they're college educated, they can work with people that may not be at that level, or it's someone that's not, maybe that knows, again, can walk into a room, assess the situation, and know how to talk to someone on any level. They can have interpersonal influence. They know how to get things done. They're the people that understand it. They're the doers of the world, and they're the fixers of the world. And they have networking ability. They can develop and retain diverse and extensive social networks. So at any situation, they know the person that they need to go to get the job done. And they have sincerity. They portray forthrightness. They are authentic in all of their dealings that they have. And these are the people that inspire confidence and also trust. So managing political behavior. And politics cannot and should not be removed from organizations. They're there. But what we have to do is recognize the political behavior and take steps to diffuse it. And open communication can help reduce political behavior. And through that, the keys to open communication are clarify sanctioned and unsanctioned political behaviors. There's good political behaviors and there are bad political behaviors. And be able to understand those, recognize them, and know how to deal with them. Clarify your performance expectations. Let people know what you expect of them. And then engage in precipitative management styles. That will help more than anything else. And have people that have a buy-in into it. Encourage cooperation among your work groups. Have people work together. Manage scarce resources well. And we have been faced with that with lean manufacturing, with lean times, and we still, again, I know we're out or have moved out of the recession, and hopefully there's not another one really coming, but it's been scary times here lately, but we have to manage those scarce resources. And then provide a supportive organizational climate to where people feel like they are truly being supported in the organization. And then manage relationships with the boss. One of the least discussed aspects of power in politics is the relationship between you and your boss. But this is a crucial relationship because your boss is your most important link to the rest of the organization. So understand your boss and his or her context, including his or her goals and objectives. What do they want for the company? And are you in line with those goals? The pressures that your boss is under, their strengths, their weaknesses, and again, their blind spots. What do they not see? And their preferred work style. Maybe they prefer being alone and not being bothered, and you need to understand that and you need to know it. And then the next step is assess your own self and your needs. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. I always tell people it's important to know your strengths, but it's more important to know your weaknesses and know what you can do to correct those. And they're still going to be there, but you can turn weaknesses into strengths. And then your personal style. And you've done enough assessments, and I know some of you have probably moaned and groaned about the assessments that we've done. But we've done them so it will make you a better person, and it will help you in your goal, or maybe you're already in a management position, but what you're going to need to cope and what you're going to need to succeed in your job. And then just the predisposition toward dependence on authority figures. And develop and maintain a relationship that fits one's and the boss's needs and styles. Is characterized by mutual expectations that both of you are on the same page. Keep the boss informed. Is based on dependability and honesty. And then selectively use your boss's time and their resources. They may not always have the time for you, or don't schedule a meeting if it's just to tell them one thing. It may be that you can shoot them an email, but know their time is precious to them and no time needs to be wasted. Let's talk just a little bit about empowerment, and that's ways in which managers can empower others in the organization, because that's what we have to do, especially as managers. We are tasked to empower our people and to make them better. Express confidence in the employees and set high expectations for them. Create opportunities for employees to participate in decision making, that they can feel like they have buy-in and that they're part of the organization. And then remove any bureaucratic constraints that stifle the autonomy, and set inspirational and meaningful goals. All right, this concludes our Module 7 and the lectures for that. You have activities that you'll have for the rest of your class, and you just make sure that you participate in those.